Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. My name is Sudhir Sahasranaman and you're watching CBSE with Sudhir. I hope you've already seen the explanation videos of all the chapters of Flamingo and Vistas which have been published on this particular channel. I've also done the test paper videos for most chapters. There are some 6 chapters which are pending, which I hope to do in the next few days. The first one of them is going to be on the 3rd level. I prepared a paper for 66 marks and it includes all different kinds of questions from MCQs to 2-mark questions to 3-mark questions and even some out of the box questions which have come in some pre-board examinations in the past. So let's get started. I would want you to keep a pen and paper so that you can take notes, you can pause the video, solve the question and then look at the solution that I provide. I promise you this will be the most fulfilling next whatever time it takes to record this video over the next, let's say, 30 to 45 minutes max. Okay, so let's first look at this extract based MCQ. I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level where you take trains like the 20th century. Now what I want you to do is chapters like 3rd level or the enemy, even chapters like going places or memories of childhood. I want you to read them multiple times because you should not go wrong with recall, because the kind of MCQs that you will get will be a combination of recall and application of that recall. So you need to be able to remember and then be able to use it in a competency based question. So you go through this particular extract. I wouldn't read out the entire thing to you. And then we will look at some of the MCQs that I have prepared for this. So this is from one of the early part of the things. What does the narrator mean when he says got lost? When he says he got lost at Grand Central. He lost his ticket while rushing. He missed his train. He entered an unknown part of the station, or he forgot his way to the platform. So the answer, as you pretty much know by now, is that he entered an unknown part of the station. This one. Let's move ahead. What does the extract suggest about Grand Central Station? That it is poorly lit and unsafe. It has a complex and confusing layout. Now, please, I hope you have understood the thing. The first one, I'm giving you easy one so that you get used to the particular chapter. It has a complex and confusing layout. Always use the elimination method when you're doing MCQs. Okay. What does the narrator discover unexpectedly while walking through Grand Central? Does he discover a hidden restaurant, a mysterious 3rd level, a lost child, or a room filled with coins? Pretty obvious. He discovers a mysterious 3rd level. Why does the narrator mention his frequent visits to the Grand Central? To show that he knows the place well, to justify how he reached the 3rd level, to explain how easy it is to get lost even with experience, or is it to highlight the historical importance of that particular station? The correct answer is C, to explain how easy it is to get lost even with experience. The last one, which tone best describes the narrator's experience in that particular passage that we read before? Humorous and mocking, fearful and tense, curious and bewildered, sad and regretful. Now here, you should be able to know the difference between various words. The difference between fearful and bewildered, right? Do not get confused. Bewildered does not mean being scared, but it is to say you are very confused about what is happening. And that's precisely his tone, right? So the tone is C, curious and bewildered. Okay, now that you have got used to it, let's look at some more MCQs which are going to be a little more tricky. What was Charlie's psychiatrist friend's immediate explanation for Charlie's experience of the 3rd level? A vivid dream sequence, a hallucination induced by stress, a waking dream wish fulfillment, a temporary escape from reality. What did I just now tell you? That you need to read the text multiple times so that you are comfortable with the language used by the author in this particular chapter or any chapter for that matter. For example, if you look at the first paragraph, it says, I told him about the third level at the Grand Central Station, and he said it was a waking dream wish fulfillment. So, unless you have read it many times, you will get confused. So, this is an easy recall question where you are being tested on whether you have read the text multiple times or not. According to Charlie's psychiatrist and friends, what did Charlie's stamp collecting signify? A deep interest in philatelely and history, a hobby passed on from his grandfather, a method of keeping the past alive, or was it a temporary refuge from reality? The correct option is D. See, I want to tell you one thing, that one of the best, at this time, what you need is a good competency focused question. So if you are looking at something like this for English, this will take care of your 2026 examination, Flamingo and Vistas class 12. What it helps you do is to kind of also give you a lot of writing skill practice and questions. So this book, an extremely useful resource I found, this one for English. Oswald books, one for all. Please take a look at it. There are also sample papers, but it depends on what you are really looking for. If you are only looking for sample test papers, you could look at sample test papers. But if you are looking at a comprehensive help for the English paper, this is the book to go for. The details are in the description box. And if you are looking to buy it, you could buy it on Amazon or Flipkart, or you could, the link is in the description box. If you are looking to buy it on oswaldbooks.com, what you could do is to use my author coupon code, because I've written 3 books for Oswald Books, Sudhir 10, SUDHIR 10, and you will get an additional discount. So that is something which you should do. Please do not postpone it right till the end. Buy it right now so that you can use it for your pre-boards. While I am on it, I want to show you some fantastic books. This one for physics, very useful. Again, the one for all. Students who have used it have been full of praise for this book for physics. Similar books are also available for chemistry, mathematics, and biology. If you are only looking for competency-based questions, only competency-based, no notes, nothing, I mean, not only focused questions related to what will be the 2026 examination like. This one is for physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Similarly, there is this one for physics, chemistry, and biology. You could take a look depending on what your subjects are, PCM or PCB, and you could actually take a look at this. This again will be very useful. You should own a couple of these books so that you know exactly you are on the right track. For humanities students also, strongly recommended this particular book, 2026 exam. So I'm showing you the latest book, accounts, business studies, economics, and mathematics. Competency focused questions for chapter 12 done chapter wise. So you revise a chapter and you can go ahead with that. In addition to that, if you do not want to buy this thing, there are these sample question papers. So something like this comes in very handy. Again, 2026. This is for class 12 science stream. So you have English, maths, physics, chemistry, and biology. This will be the sample question paper. There are 20 sample question papers out here. So this is again something which you will find very useful. If you want to buy something similar for humanities, again available for geography, political science, history, sociology, psychology, and English. So again, depending on your core, I don't have the one for commerce out here. I didn't get it. Now, if you're only looking for individual subjects, let me just tell you to you so that we get over with it, so that you know exactly what to buy. These are sample test papers only for mathematics. If you think फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री में मैं टॉप हूं, मुझे सिर्फ मैथ्स में हेल्प चाहिए, तो सिर्फ मैथ्स का ये ले सकते हैं. Similarly, if you think maths is not a problem, chemistry is not a problem, but physics is a problem, I want practice, these are the sample test papers. So again, as I said, the links are given in the description box. oswaldbooks.com, Sudhir 10 is something which you need to do. Let's get ahead with the third level. What does Charlie buy in preparation for his planned trip to the third level, even though he never gets to use it there? Does he buy a 19th century map of Grand Central Station? Pause the video, think of the answer, and wait. Okay, a period appropriate suit of clothes, $300 worth of old style currency. That's the correct answer. $300 worth of old style currency, right? How did Charlie conclusively verify the year he had stumbled into on the third level? By checking the date on the ticket counter, by observing the style of the locomotive of the train, by seeing the newspaper, The World, with a specific date and lead story, or by hearing people discussing events of the late 19th century. You know that the correct answer is that he saw the newspaper, The World. What was the primary reason the clerk at the third level refused Charles' money? Why did he refuse to take the money? Is it because he did not have an affair? Because the bills were of a modern style different from the 1894, the currency that was used in 1894? The clerk suspected Charlie. You would not get most of these questions anywhere, right? So these are all original questions which I have prepared. Some of them could be from one of the item banks, but largely original. Suspected Charlie was trying to swindle him. Swindle means, again, these kind of words you should know. Swindle means to cheat him, right? Fancy hat band made him look very suspicious. The correct answer is fifth B. Charlie describes Grand Central as growing like a tree. Now, this is a very important phrase. I have also prepared a long format answer for this. So just wait for that, right? So he describes Grand Central like this. Now, what does this imagery essentially signify? What does it tell us about the station? It tells us about its organic and very unpredictable kind of expansion, right? Next one, seventh. What was Charlie's immediate reaction after the clerk refused those $300 on his money on the third level? What was his reaction? What did he do? Please read the four options, pause the video, and then think of your answer and then match it with my answer. The correct answer is he turned away and got out fast. Where did Sam Weiner establish his new business after disappearing to Galesburg in 1894? Or rather, what did what did he establish? Not what did, not where. What did where establish? What did he do? Or rather, where only? It will be the hay, feed, and grain business, right? The discovery of Sam's letter inside the first day cover is significant. Why is it significant? Please read the four options. Which do you think is the correct one? Pause the video, think about it. Please use the elimination method. I keep on repeating, unless you use the elimination method, CBSE English papers are, in my opinion, more tough than ISC English papers. So if any ISC student is telling you that, oh, our English is top, no. The question papers in CBSE English are definitely far more tough than the ISC English papers. I strongly believe that, right? Here, the level of competency-based questions is much more. Here, the ninth one, the correct answer is C. Which statement best encapsulates? Encapsulates means kind of, Simatkar, it tells you something about it. The contrast Charlie draws between 1894 Galesburg and the modern world. Please go through the four options. Which do you think is the right answer? The correct answer is, do you think it don't get confused between B and C? The correct answer is C. What made Charlie believe in the existence of the third level? Please go through the four options. What do you think is the correct one? Do you think all of them are correct? What do you think? Yes, all of them are correct. It's all of the above. What does the term waking dream? Now, this is another important phrase which has been used in this particular story. Please, again, this is something whose meaning you can be asked in the examination. Waking dream wish fulfillment refer to? Does it mean a real adventure? Does it mean a medical condition? Does it mean escaping reality through imagination? What does it mean sleep paralysis? The correct option is C, escaping reality through imagination. Who was Sam in Charlie's life? Was he Louisa's brother? Was he a psychiatrist friend? This is a very easy and a straightforward recall question, right? What is Charlie's hobby that others call a refuge from reality? Coin collecting, stamp collecting, modern trade building, or is it reading mystery books? The correct answer is yes, B. Where does Charlie want to go with Louisa? Times Square, Central Park, Galesburg, Illinois, or new heaven? The correct option is C. What proof does Charlie finally get of the third level's existence? What proof does he get? Does he get a telegram? Does he get a train ticket? Does he get Sam's letter postmarked from 1894? Or does he get a voice message on his phone? The correct answer is C. Why did the clerk at the third level ticket counter get suspicious? By his clothes, by the name of Louisa, modern currency, the stamp collection, we just referred to that, modern currency. Which literary device is central to the story? Is it a satire? Is it full of irony? Is it a fantasy? Or is it an allegorical tale? The correct answer is fantasy. How does the story challenge conventional notions of time? Is it through flashback, by cheating, by creating alternate timelines, by showing future visions? He's not talking about the future, he's talking about the past. Through parallel universes. The correct answer is, do not get confused between A, B, and D. The correct answer is B out here. So I am again warning you, at least 2, sometimes 3 options will be seen very close to each other. So you need to give it a lot of thought. Please do not depend on summary videos. Read the textbook very, very carefully. Understand each and every word and phrase the way I have explained in the explanation video. I don't do shortcut videos. It will be very useful for you if you don't go by summary videos. If you're happy with the 60-70%, that's fine. But if you are looking to score in the high 90s, please understand the text. You would be doing yourself a big favor. The final question. What finally motivates Charlie and Louisa to continue looking for the third level? Sam's sudden disappearance, the stamp cover from 1894, nostalgia, or Charlie's dreams? This is pretty easy, 20th B. Okay, now I hope you have got warmed up. Let's now look at the short answer questions. For 2 marks each, you will be expected to write between 30 and 40 words, sometimes 50 words for a question like this. Why did Charlie's psychiatrist friend Sam Wiener consider Charlie's experience of the third level a waking dream wish fulfillment? What I just now told you, this phrase is very, very important because he believes, you need to write the first answer and then he write, because he believes that it's not a real event, it is only a product of Charlie's imagination. That's what he thinks in the beginning, a kind of a daydream or fantasy that expresses his subconscious desire to escape from the stress of modern life. This is what he believes. Let me give you some more information so that you understand this better. See, Sam explains, because you need to understand Charlie's state of mind. Very important in the story. Sam explains that Charlie is unhappy with the insecurities, with the anxieties, the pressures of the wars, the economic crisis, etc. Therefore, according to Sam, Charlie's mind creates this illusion of a very peaceful past, specifically 1894, where life seemed very slow, simple, and very safe. So Sam interprets that this third level that Charlie is talking about is a psychological escape mechanism. It's not a real place. So, which is why he refers to it as a waking dream wish fulfillment. Okay. Describe any 2 specific visual details that alerted Charlie to the fact that he was no longer on the third level, right? That he was no longer on the third level. Now, Charlie observed several details, including the dim, flickering, open flame gas lights, including instead of electric lights. So that is specific point number 1. Number 2, he also saw people dressed in period clothing like derby hats, 4-button suits, handlebar mustaches, and women in leg of mutton sleeves and high button shoes. So this is point number 2. Details like this will be important. इसीलिए मैं बोलता हूं समरी वीडियोस मत देखो, उसमें ये सारे डिटेल्स आपको नहीं बताए जाएंगे. You need to know the spelling and what is to be written in the answers. Third question. What significant realization did Charlie make about Galesburg, Illinois in 1894, and why was he so keen to get there? He realized that it was a peaceful world, more safe world, untouched by the impending world wars. He was keen to go there to experience this idyllic means perfect life with long summer evenings and people relaxing on lawns and the absence of any kind of worries or modern day anxieties. Charlie mentioned, so you see, these are all 30 to 40 word answers. So you need to be very precise. इधर उधर की बातें नहीं लिखनी है, पूरे स्टोरी का समरी नहीं लिखना है, उससे मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. जो क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है, write the answer specific to what is asked in the question. Charlie mentions, I'm just an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Louisa, my wife. How does this statement challenge the psychiatrist's initial diagnosis? इस स्टेटमेंट को, साइकेट्रिस्ट को इनिशियल डायग्नोसिस को, हाउ डज इट चैलेंज? Now, Charlie's statement directly counters Sam's diagnosis by asserting his ordinary nature and simple desire to get home to his wife rather than escape. He's not looking for an escape. This introduces ambiguity. Ambiguity means confusion and a bit of doubt about whether his experience was a psychological escape or did it actually genuinely happen. Explain now. This is another important aspect of this particular story. The first day cover. How does, what role does it play? Now, in this kind of a question, you need to explain what is a first day cover, right? A first day cover is an envelope mailed to oneself on the first day a new stamp is issued. So that serves as a proof of the date via the postmark. That is, this stamp has been used, this stamp was issued in this year, this month. So that gives a certain kind of proof. Its crucial role was that Sam sent one to Charlie's grandfather from 1894, providing physical proof that Sam had indeed found the third level and traveled back to the past. This is another, lots of important phrases in this particular story. Grand Central is like a tree. Explain this particular metaphor. Now, when Charlie, now this one is a little long, deliberately I've written because the same question can also come as a 75 to 100 word answer, right? So I'm deliberately written a slightly longer answer so that you can understand it better. When Charlie says Grand Central is like a tree, he uses a metaphor to describe the station's endless expansion and maze-like structure. Please use words from the text. Just as a tree grows new roots that spread in unpredictable directions, Grand Central keeps pushing out new corridors, staircases, and tunnels, some seemingly without end. This description symbolizes how the station connects not only different platforms, but perhaps different dimensions or time periods. For Charlie, it reflects both the confusion of modern life and the mysterious possibility of escape through the third level. So this is what it means when it says it's like a tree. Now let's come to the 3-mark questions, which you would be asked to answer in 50 to 60 words. The story suggests that the modern world is full of insecurity, fear. So every question, largely, I would think the way I've phrased it, would use a quote from the story. So you will be expected to explain a little about that quote and then relate it to the question that has been asked. How does the narrative explore the theme of escape as a response to the anxieties of contemporary life? So the narrative strongly presents escape as a coping mechanism. This phrase, very important, because he's using it as a coping mechanism to handle the anxieties of the modern world. The psychiatrist diagnoses Charlie's experience as a waking dream wish fulfillment due to the pervasive insecurity, fear of the world wars, war, etc. This idealization. So therefore, he looks at Galesburg in 1894 as an ideal kind of a time and place, right? Where there were no kind of wars, no kind of conflicts, no kind of worries or anxieties. And even Sam Weiner, the psychiatrist, ultimately succumbs to the desire and he finds solace in the past, suggesting that there is a universal human tendency that we want to escape from the stress and want to go back to a peaceful life. Like many of us do. We want to go and settle down in our village when we are old, right? Because we think we have gone back to our roots. Something similar out here. Analyze Sam Weiner's transformation from Charlie's psychiatrist to an inhabitant of 1894, Galesburg. Important question. थोड़ा दिमाग लगा के आपको आंसर लिखना पड़ेगा. What does this journey imply? So his thing, point number 1, it adds to the ambiguity of the story, right? Because initially he had said that it's a waking dream wish fulfillment, but then he realizes that there is something more than that. It manifests itself in his own disappearance and the discovery of his letter from 1894. It reveals that he also had escaped similarly. He had also embraced this escape route. So it implies that even a professional like a psychiatrist who is supposed to help somebody else deal with their insecurities of the mind, he also has similar subconscious desires. Or it could suggest that the third level is not just a delusion, but it actually is in real. Sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. How does this metaphorical description by Charlie contribute to the enigmatic and surreal atmosphere of the story? Right? Um Charlie's metaphor of the Grand Central growing like a tree, it enhances the kind of, the surreal and enigmatic atmosphere. So use that particular phrase and then explain why are you agreeing with that? Because this imagery suggests that the Grand Central is more than a building. This line is very important. It is a huge kind of a confusing space, right? That defy logical architecture. Very important, right? It kind of, says that it can have different kind of unpredictable and occurrences which cannot really be explained, and it seems like, it could be the existence of the third level. It may seem very difficult to understand within the context of the story, but it seems to be for real. Charlie faced a practical challenge when trying to buy tickets to Ginsburg. Explain the problem and how he attempted. Now, this is a straight recall question. So here, what happened was that the clerk said this: they are not half big as the money we use nowadays. So then he wanted to return to 1894. He withdrew all his savings of $300 and bought old style currency from a coin dealer at a premium that he paid more for it. And this highlights the stark financial differences and the commitment required to navigate between two distinct time periods, between the present and 1894. So he needs to buy the currency, the old currency, in order to travel back in time. So these are the practical problems that he faces. Now, this is a slightly more confusing question, right? It blurs the reality between the different lines between reality and imagination. So this is an opinion question. The question is asking, do you think the third level is a literal place? So whenever you get a opinion question, please ensure that you give your opinion, but you need to base it on proof from the story. That is very important, right? So you have to justify your position, your opinion, with evidence from the text. This is very important. And that's where a book like this would come in very handy. Apart from my test papers, if you look at this book, it will give you a lot of these kind of answers and practice questions so that you are able to be better prepared for the examination. So please invest in that kind of a book. The story cleverly blurs the lines between reality and imagination, making it open to interpretation. One could argue that the third level is a product of Charlie's subconscious desires for escape from the insecurity, fear, war, worry. And you don't have to have any doubt. Even if you go to Amazon, you will find all the bestsellers. The top ranking books are mostly from Oswald books. There will be very few from other publishers. And even when I checked with a publisher out here, I just went to a random two publishers and asked, which is the book that sells more? The question mark. He said the first one is Oswald, the second one is Arihant. The others don't even compete out here. So it's pretty obvious what is the first choice for most of the students. As this psychiatrist initially suggests, his stamp collecting too is labeled. Uh, 1 minute. So detailing his life there serves as tangible proof that another person, a psychiatrist, no less, psychiatrist, and it's a psychiatrist. It's not just some ordinary shopkeeper or anyone in a normal profession. A psychiatrist is supposed to get into the mind. Also found, and he's living on the third level. This shifts the argument towards it being a literal, albeit inexplicable place, implying that perhaps the desire to escape is so strong it can create or reveal such a reality. How is the theme of escape presented in the story? Uh, I want you to read this answer first so that you understand what I'm writing. The theme of escapism. I cannot overemphasize the importance of this question. Please prepare this answer very well. Okay, because the entire thing is about escape. I want you to go through it, take a screenshot, and keep this answer is very important. So the theme of escapism is at the heart of the third level because both of them are victims of the anxiety and insecurity of modern day life. Charlie initially, and even later, we realize that even Sam would be, right? And the third level, therefore, it becomes a symbol and a very powerful symbol because it's like a grand tree kind of thing, And also look at the name, the Grand Central, right? So it becomes a very powerful symbol of escape. It represents his subconscious desire to find peace and security uh, to in a simpler, stress-free past, and through the illusion of time travel. Because time travel, yes, the same question can be asked in the theme of talk about the theme of time travel. So prepare for that also. You need to be prepared for everything because when you go well prepared, you don't have to spend time thinking inside the examination hall. The story portrays humanity's longing to flee. Flee means escape from the harshness of reality into a world of comfort and nostalgia. Now this is something which you will love, and this is also something which CBSE loves to give, right? It's combination questions where I have combined third level with the Tiger King. Okay, so both the king in the Tiger King के ऊपर test paper already done, right? Third level में Charlie, they're trying to escape, right? They're trying to control forces, not escape, control forces beyond their reach, right? How does each character reflect human folly, human stupidity, human silliness? So they are seen as struggling. Charlie is trapped in the anxieties of the modern world, invents the third level as a way to escape. It's a psychological refuge. The Tiger King is driven by arrogance. This fellow, Charlie, is driven by insecurity and anxiety. The Tiger King is driven by arrogance that he will kill all the tigers in the kingdom. And he believes that he can defy destiny that way, right? But both ultimately expose the attempts, the efforts by mankind to manipulate reality. Because Charlie is thinking, I can manipulate reality by creating an alternate place, right? The central, the third level. The king is saying that I can defy destiny by killing all the tigers in my kingdom and even neighboring kingdoms, right? So one is through fantasy, the other is through arrogance and pride. And therefore, both of them, they show the delusion that you're trying to cheat oneself, that, I can overcome any kind of fate or circumstances. In both, now the next one is between third level and memories of childhood. You may get questions like this, which is why I prepared these two questions. Okay, so both of them seek freedom in memories of childhood also, right? The two characters out there. So Charlie in the third level, he tries to escape the psychological burden of a world filled with war, worry, and insecurity. His retreat into the third level symbolizes a deep craving for peace and emotional safety. In contrast, Zitkala and Bama in Memories of Childhood, they confront social oppression rooted in race, caste, and gender. Their escape is not into illusion, but into resistance. This guy goes into illusion and fantasy. They are actually into resistance through education, awareness, and self-expression. But both of them undertake a particular journey, right? They kind of, what do they symbolize? That we need to escape, reclaim dignity and freedom from a reality that wounds or limits them. This last sentence that I've written is very important. Okay. Now, these are some of the PYQs which I thought were interesting. They have been asked. Now, this one was asked in a pre-board examination paper of one of my students from the 2022 batch. I'm not saying that it will come in 2026, but be prepared if you get these kind of questions. So suppose you get Louisa diary. Okay. What might you find there about the third level? Compose 3 diary entries based on events from the story. So how do you write your first Today, Charlie told me that he has found the third level at the Grand Central Station. I worry that he has been working very hard and hallucinating. I immediately took him to his psychiatrist friend Sam Wiener. Sam told Charlie that he was unhappy and that drove me mad. Sam then clarified that Charlie perhaps wanted to escape the anxieties of modern life. I must put it on record that I have no desire to escape New York. So this is day 1 diary of his wife. The second entry is a few days later. Again, in this, you need to know the facts in the story. Otherwise, you will not be able to write this diary. Charlie has withdrawn all our money and exchanged it for old style bills. He wants to buy 2 tickets from the so-called and imaginary third level at Grand Central to Galesbury, Illinois. I'm very worried for him. The third entry is at the end, I think Charlie is not hallucinating because they have found Sam's letter. He has confirmed that the third level exists at Grand Central. He has asked her to search for it and comes to Galesburg. The search begins. So this is how you write 3 diary entries. If you get a question like this, I want you to be prepared for that. Then what convinced Charlie that he had reached the third level at the Grand Central Station and not the second level? Now, Charlie was convinced that he had indeed reached the third level of the Grand Central Station and not the second one because the general layout was very different. This level had comparatively smaller rooms, fewer ticket windows, and lesser train gates. The information booth was wood. So again, you need to know the facts mentioned in the story. This is again very important. So all these things, you will get marks if you use these keywords. Gas lights, brass spittoons, are talking about the information booth, the smaller rooms, all these details you need to give, only then you will get marks. So again, I'm insisting, please read the textbook very carefully, at least 5 times, so that you are conversant with every expression, word and phrase which has been used in every poem, every story. Okay, so with this, I end this particular test paper on the third level. I hope it was of use to you. I wouldn't be giving this PDF, but I want you to understand. You can take screenshots. I want you to express it in your own words, taking the keywords, but the larger message is go well prepared. Okay, go very well prepared. And I will now see you with yet another chapter. As I said, there are 5 more left. I think 2 poems and 3 more stories, perhaps. Enemy is there, Journey to the End of Earth, A Thing of Beauty, Roadside Stand, and 1 more is left. Once I finish that, I will be done with all the test papers of all the chapters. The writing skills are put in a separate playlist for combined 11th and 12th. Please go and have a look at it on this channel, CBSE with Sudhir. Tata, bye-bye. Thank you very much. Namaskar.